Hello everyone, my name is Carrie Jane. Welcome to my channel, and in this video I want to talk about crystals, and this will be an introduction to crystals. I'm not planning anything intensive for this first video, so if you're at home and you're watching this, I recommend you grab some tea, just chill out, and yeah, listen to what someone has to say about it. As excited as I am to be making this video, it's also a bit daunting. The idea excited me, and then I got to the task of trying to figure out how to organize my thoughts about it and, figure out which is the best way to present it to people. And it's just, it has so many different angles to look at it from, and there's so many things that can be said about it, and so I think I've bitten off a little bit more than I can chew. But just to start out, I want to say that I'm not like a crystal expert. In fact, I'm still in the beginning phases of this journey of having them, first of all, having them in my living spaces, working with them because I work in a store where I have to help sell them, and therefore that requires me to not just have my own relationship with them now. I have to actually have answers to people's questions that are not my own. And in my presentation to them about these crystals, it does, half of the explanation is, what I use them for, but that's the thing. One crystal is not a universal, one crystal does not have a universal use for every single person. There will be lots of commonalities, there will be a lot of intersection points with the feelings that people get off the crystals, and therefore the things that they use them for. But at the end of the day, it's going to be something uniquely different to you. So, with that, I'd like to start off with saying that the most common question that I get in the store about crystals are, what crystal is good for healing? Because a lot of the time people come in and want to buy a gift for someone else, and so they'll say, my friend's going through this hard time, or my friend has to undergo chemotherapy, or they're going through a breakup, or they're having trouble with this part of their life. It could be something emotional or physical, usually both, because it's very intertwined, and they want to know which one is good for healing. And I kind of laugh at that question, because that's kind of the point to crystals. They're all for healing. One's not for just like healing and the other not. And so I have come to the realization that this is just completely foreign territory to a lot of people, and it's exciting. And I don't know what happened, but crystals used to not be this huge thing. Everyone has lost their goddamn mind, excuse my language, over crystals. And a lot of it makes sense. They're beautiful, they're eye-catching, they're a lot of fun. They're like little earth candies, so to speak. There's nothing to not love about them, even if you don't really see any potential physical benefits from having them in your home. People, I think, can still sense the value in having them And people like to collect things. I think that, I don't know, it's something that can easily be adapted and, I don't know, taken on with human behavior. The best thing that I can compare it to is my mom has always had this like precious moments collection. And if you have a parent or like even just anyone in that generation, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, why do you collect those things? The person can't really explain why. They just like the atmosphere of them, and I don't know, I don't collect them, so I can't speak for them, I guess. But there's something about crystals that has really caught everyone's attention, and I think that because now they are more being spoken about in the communities, in the science sometimes, and you know, obviously mostly spiritual communities, are said to help people with really major things. I think it's just, well, like, why the hell not have them? Why the hell not be attracted to them? It can't hurt, right? But yeah, anyway, went off on a tangent there for a second. But yeah, what I was trying to explain was people come into the store and want to know which one is good for healing. So there are two things that I've come to realize from this question, and I wrote them down, so I'm going to read them off to you. One is the sheer variety and diversity in energies and uses that crystals have. It definitely brings a lot of light to that. And second is how it may be a struggle for people to tackle the understanding of this vastness, because there are some accurate general things that can be said about crystals, but nothing universal. And I think that either makes people a little bit uncomfortable or just makes them feel like it's too difficult to understand. And the thing about crystals is that they are not hard to understand. It's just not clear cut, and it's not black and white. It is not like when you go to the doctor and they prescribe you a molecule and then you use that. We don't understand crystals enough to be able to do anything like that, although eventually I do want to make a video that talks about more of the science, which will get into their structures and what they could potentially be used for and such. But right now it is very much a right brain function. It's something, like I said earlier, that's going to have some universal principles, but is going to be unique to yourself. And so, if you want to learn about crystals, you're just going to have to physically spend some time with them. I don't think there's any way of getting around that. If you want to learn about crystals, these videos help, and getting as many opinions and perspectives as you can helps, because I think each one will give you a tool for your toolbox of understanding. But it's just something that you're going to have to learn how to learn, if that makes any sense. I think that it's important to say that you do not have to be a extremely intuitive or psychic person to get a sense of what a crystal feels like. It's really quite basic, I think. And if you actually end up trying to overthink it or overcomplicate the process of getting a sense of what a crystal is like, you might inadvertently impose your own thoughts onto it, instead of truly seeing it. Another thing that I want to mention is that on your quest to try and find information about each crystal, there's so many different sources. Obviously there's online, and each thing will point something out about the stone that a lot of the descriptions have in common, but you may find some very varied responses as to what each crystal is about and what it does, as well as just, some universal things. But something that I have struggled with in my own journey and my own, study of these guys is that I don't always like the way that the choice of words or the way that the crystals are presented. Some books, a lot of books that you find are a little bit too textbooky. Not that I don't like the analytical aspect of it. I'm not talking about when it'll explain its composition and how it was formed and things like that. I actually really like that. It's just the way that it explains the healing part to it, the way that it explains the metaphysical properties to it. It'll be a little bit too cut dry, in my opinion. This book, which I did not actually buy, my coworker Susan bought it to present it to the owners of the store to see if they'd be interested in carrying it, and just let me have it because she's so nice. Thank you, Susan, if you ever see this. But this thing, it really, the way that it explains the crystals is how I wish I read everything about them. And it's weird because it's by Judy Hall, who does make other books, who, the Crystal Bibles, which are essentially kind of like the textbooks. And I wish that she would write about each crystal the same way that she has with this little guy. And I'll give you an example. Let's see. I'll just read a piece of this book to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Green aventurine, success, it says. It says, the stone shows you that failure is not a mistake, but rather part of the learning process. It helps you value what you have and encourages you to try again, setting achievable goals instead of indulging in pipe dreams. Green aventurine assists you to recognize and overcome any inner feelings of lack or poverty consciousness that may be holding you back. This supportive stone releases your reliance on other people, showing you that you can do it. If you need to step outside your comfort zone, green aventurine increases your confidence and helps you to become your true self. That's a lovely description, and it is said that green aventurine is really good for luck, really good for abundance. It's a good abundance stone. But how? And that was an explanation of how, the specific mechanism in which it does that. Not just that, oh, this is for good luck, or oh, this will help your blood pressure, or oh, it's like, that's why you find so many similar things for each stone. I think each stone has its own mechanism of healing, and depending on who you are, it will affect you differently and help you with your ailment, whether it be mental or physical, as I've said. What I also like so much about this format of description is that it takes a few key aspects, kind of blends them together. You can tell this person has been spending a lot of time with each stone and meditating on each stone and building a relationship with each stone. And so the combination of that with the key aspects that you know about the stone kind of comes and blends together to make a new description of it, a new interpretation of it that is more specific and more accurate. It really hits the nail on the head. And this takes time. It just takes time. And as I said earlier, like it's not hard to do, except that it's not going to be a quick, easy, here's a prescription answer. And if you're okay with that, you will develop your own relationship and your own understanding of the stones. And it might even be an interpretation that helps another person. It might even be something valid and valuable that can be added to our knowledge of these stones. So it's worthwhile for yourself and it's worthwhile for everyone else. So I highly recommend doing that if you're watching this video and you're just starting out, or you're in the middle of it, kind of like I am, or you're older and you've just been working with them forever, which at that point you have your own ways of going about this. Yeah, that's all I can think of for this video, but I have so much more to say. It's just a little bit disorganized right now. I'm still very busy. But I think that the best way, or one of the best ways to get my own, understanding, my own explanation for this topic is if someone asks me questions about it, my opinions or my experiences on it, or if you've just, encountered an obstacle, or you've encountered a question yourself and you want to ask someone, please comment below. And then if I could get enough, I could even make a Q&A. Although, I don't know, there's not many people who see this video, so that would be, I think, a far-reaching dream, but you never know. I would love to make a Q&A, so if you have a question, please leave it in the comments. Or if you have something to add to all this, please leave it in the comments. Also, please subscribe, like this video, so that other people can find it. And yeah, I think that's it for today. Hopefully, I'll get the next video out soon. I'm going and traveling a little over a week in September. And so I'm trying to make a couple videos now, and then while I'm there, if I ever get a free moment, edit them. So if you see a lot of videos that I'm either wearing the same outfit, that means that I shot all the videos in one day and I edited and then posted them later on. Yeah, I think that's all for now. So thank you again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.